I would never thought I would see the day that I would be back here to this amazing game. What's good, YouTube? Alex Fuel here with StoryFueled Gaming, and welcome to my first ever Magic the Gathering Arena gameplay video in the year 2025. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are returning back to our roots. And what do I mean by roots? We are returning back to the games that got me popular here on the platform, on YouTube, and by extension Twitch. By the way, side note, if you like the content and you wanna go ahead and uh, be a part of the community, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel. It's free and free is good. And if you also like the content, don't hesitate to go follow me on Twitch. Again, a link to all of that will be down below in the description. And speaking of giving back, uh, if you like the content and you would like to support me as well, you can go ahead and buy some of my digital products over at Payhit, which is linked down below in the description as well. Payhit.com/pixel of praise. And oh boy, I am very excited for this video, for this gameplay video, because we are going to be returning to one of, if not my most enamored archetypes in all of Magic the Gathering, and we're going to be taking it for a spin in the Pioneer format. And if you don't know what Pioneer is essentially similar or somewhat similar to its later counterpart of the same name in the form, or in the name rather, of Pioneer. And oh boy, I am excited as hell for that, because again, Pioneer is my favorite, or the Eternal formats rather, are my favorite type of format, because you can explore and play some very interesting cards. And today we got an interesting deck in store for you all today. A Dimir, also known as Blue-Black Reanimator deck. I like to call this a Mob Reanimator, but you can call this deck whatever the heck you want. This essentially is a mid-range combo-based deck built around the concept of bringing back some massive creatures from the graveyard and just overwhelming the opponent and finishing them off with said big creatures. And like I said, we are playing this in the Pioneer format, which is essentially the name that replaced the Explorer format. If you are familiar with Explorer, Explorer and Pioneer are basically one and the same. It has virtually the same card pools, albeit in Magic the Gathering Arena, which has a different style of card pool. Unlike like I said, this format is essentially one and the same as opposed to Explorer, or in, take the Pioneer, but again, they are essentially one and the same. So what is Mob Reanimator? Mob Reanimator is essentially a blue-black combo deck, slash mid-range deck, built around the concept of utilizing a reanimation game plan. And what do I mean by reanimation? Well, basically, we are a deck that aims to win the game by sending big boy creatures from the hand to the graveyard in order to bring them back, mainly with this tool right here, Zombify, a very good card that got reprinted all the way back in Foundations. In Foundations, we got some really good stuff from that set, and one of those is the namesake card, Zombify, a very good reanimator spell that has been in the game for quite a long time and will continue to see play up until the end of time. The end of time being 2030, which is insane. And so Zombify is very good. a very good spell that costs 4 mana as opposed to the usual 5 mana that you see in a typical reanimation spell, and it is really powerful. Zombify, a 4 mana, 3 and a black sorcery spell that has the ability that reads return target creature cards from the graveyard to the battlefield. And the way we send these big boys from hand to grave is we have a lot of discard cards, or I should say a lot of cards that discard cards from our hand in order to draw into our specific combo pieces. More specifically, we want to draw Zombify. And so, this is what we have the deck here. So we have an early game comprised of counter spells and card draw to help us cycle through the deck and search for our key combo pieces, mainly Zombify and the big creatures that we want to reanimate. But the main build around card in the deck is obviously Summon Bahamut, a very good card from the Final Fantasy expansion, a 9 mana legend, or should I say mythic rare enchantment creature Saga Dragon that has 4 chapters. On the first 2 chapters, you get to destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent, which is very good because this is a Teach's interaction that this deck needs. Chapter 3, we get to draw 2 cards rather, and on the final chapter, which is dubbed Mega Flare here, Bahamut deals damage equal to the combined mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. In this case, since we are playing 1v1, we are essentially dealing the vast majority of the damage according to the combined mana value of every single card that we have on the battlefield to the opponent, which literally means we get to win the game very quickly, like a snap of a finger. But we need to get there, and the way we get there is thanks to, the plethora of discard and draw effects in this deck. So let me go ahead and explain card by card what it's doing here and all of that stuff. So obviously, alongside Zombify and Summon Bahamut, we need some big creatures to go ahead and reanimate. And for instance, one of them is Sire of 7 Deaths, a very powerful card that came with the Foundations expansion, 7 mana, colorless Eldrazi creature that has a 7 attack, 7 health stat line, and the abilities that are 7 as well. We have First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Lifelink, and Ward, forcing the opponent to pay 7 life. If they want to target this guy. Otherwise, this the spell that they want to cast on this guy gets countered, which is huge, absolutely massive, and I like it in this deck. Same goes with the Phyrexian Fleshgorger, a very powerful card that can be played in the early portion of the curve. Same with the Unholy Annex, very good card as well. We all know by now how good this card is, especially in Standard. 3 mana, enchantment room, that at the beginning of the end step, we get to draw a card. If we don't control a demon, we get to lose life, but if we control one, we get to drain the opponent for 2 and we gain 2 life, which is huge. And we can also speed up the process by unlocking the room and getting the Ritual Chamber. We can unlock the room for its mana cost, and the Ritual Chamber is 5 mana. So for Summon Bahamut purposes, this card has a combined mana value of 3 plus 5 is 8. Yes, a combined mana value of 8, which is huge damage once the Bahamut leaves the battlefield, which is absolutely backbreaking, especially for mid-range and control decks to handle. And It is such a good card, man. And then it has a plethora rather of discard and draw effects to make sure that we send these big boys to the graveyard and then we can cross it. So for instance, we have the full playset of Mob Lookout. 4 copies of Mob Lookout, which is a card from the Omen Paths expansion, aka the Starman set. 1 and a Dimir hybrid, so you can play this for either a blue or a black, alongside the generic mana symbols, basically 2 mana for a 0 attack, 3 health creature that is a human rogue villain that upon entering, target creature you control connives. So, target creature includes himself, by the way. Connive is a returning mechanic from Streets of New Katana, the last standard set before the advent of rotation and the rotating out of sets like Dominary United and all of that stuff. So, very good card in a deck like this, wherein we want to send big boy creatures from hand to grave, which is fantastic. And speaking of sending big boy creatures from hand to grave, it also has a triple copy of Bitter Triumph, which allows us to discard a card as an additional cost to go ahead and take out a creature or planeswalker, which is very nice in a reanimation deck like this one, which has more big creatures, like for instance the Ancient of Treachery, and it has the Vein Ritual as well. Very good card, especially in standard nowadays. 6 mana, 6 attack, 5 health, mythic rare vampire assassin creature that has flying and ward, forcing the opponent to sacrifice a creature, and whenever a creature dies, we get to drain the opponent for 2, which is fantastic. A recent addition to the archetype is Roiling Dragonstorm. 2 mana, 1 and a blue enchantment that upon entering, you get to draw a card, or should say, you get to draw 2 cards rather, and then you get to discard a card. And whenever a dragon you control enters the battlefield, we get to return the creature, or the enchantment rather, to our hand, which is fantastic. And then we have a little bit of interaction against control decks with Divert Disaster from mtgeternities, a set that I hadn't ventured into yet since this is my first gameplay video of Magic the Gathering in God knows how long. So yeah, very good card in a deck just like this, where we need to counter important spells from the opponent, which is fantastic. And then we have a one-off of Curator's Destinies for those matchups that drag out longer than we want. We wanna get some cards, and we wanna do so pronto, which is fantastic in a deck like this, wherein we are essentially a mid-range combo deck that is essentially looking for its combo pieces to finish the game off. The mana base is pretty straightforward, an equal split of islands and swamps, alongside 4 copies of the blue-black Verge Land, 2 pathways, 2 shipwreck marsh, 2 underground rivers, and 2 watery graves, which is, by the way, reprinted in Edge of Eternities, which is fantastic. Alright, let's hop on some games and see how this deck does. Let's see. Let's see if we can find some opponents here. Wow, is there nobody playing Pioneer at this moment? Uh-oh. This ain't good. How can we test this deck against the competition though? Oh boy. This is gonna be insane. Oh boy. Wow, they're essentially taking their sweet time here. Okay, finally. Oh man, my goodness, that took a while. Huh, wow, I was getting a little bit worried there. Alright, let's do this. And yes, I'm eating bread while I do this. And let's see. Wow, we got a fantastic hand. I like it. I'll kick it. We are on the draw, so we could be in for a bit of a world of hurt here. Alright, our opponent in the meanwhile starts with a Temple of Enlightenment, so could be a somewhat of a control deck. Could be a mid-range deck, but typically this sort of archetype is a control deck, yeah. And the fact that they foretold the card definitely points towards a control deck. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the mob lookout, and what we wanna do is we wanna discard summon Bahamut, and we are gonna call that a turn. Alright, so it is an Esper control deck. Esper being the core combination of blue, black, and red, and blue, black, and white rather. Because if you replace white with green, that, or I should say white with red, that would be Grixis. And we're just gonna attack one and call that a turn. A very nice turn, as I do say so myself. I'm gonna pass here. Dane Slayer Angel, okay. Ooh, no, that's a good card. Holy macro. We're gonna pass. And next turn, we're gonna drop Dimir, and then after that, we're gonna drop the agent here. This could be a Doomscar, now that I think about it. Alright, let's try and drop Dimir first, then to counter it. If not, we're gonna make this open, or kick this open. And we're just gonna attack here. Try to put on some damage. Worth it.
If you wish to surrender now, take thoughtfulness before action.
There's the Dragon Storm. But I like the idea of trying to resolve an Agent of Treachery here. If not, we're just gonna resort to wow, okay, nice. And we're just gonna attack here. Try to take down Narset as quickly as we can.
I have just the trick for this.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
My prowess.
Alright, let's get out of here. Yes, Narset completely shuts us down here. And we're just gonna concede. The reason why we concede is because Narset is a problem for a deck like this, wherein the deck wants to cycle. And yeah, we just go to another game. I don't like decks like that, wherein it's just a pure control deck. I hate control. I hate pure control. I'd rather play a mid-range deck than a control deck. Because if I play a control deck, I would lose my sanity. Alright, game 2. You live and you learn. And we're facing rather Age Man. Ooh, we got a good hand. Wow. I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna go ahead and play first the Underground River. And then next turn we're gonna play the black pathway, or we can just draw into a swamp. That's fine. We're gonna go ahead and pass with the plan of casting Bitter Triumph on one of these big boys. Sunset Saddle Tour. Okay, so this could be a mono black aggro deck. I think we're gonna go ahead and take out the Saddle Tour here. Oh, great. Great. What the? Seriously? What was that? Okay, that was... What was that? Alright, phew. Alright, we're gonna play the Unholy Annex, or Annex English, to keep the cards flowing. Very nice. And then next turn, it's Zombify time. Here's the Saddle Tour, and a Forsaken Mine. Oh, holy mother of aggro. Well, thankfully, the two cards that we have in the graveyard, these are perfect versus aggro. Holy macro. Now we gotta be careful because we are on the clock against this sort of aggressive deck. Oh boy. And then let's unlock the room. There we go. And we're just gonna pass. We're gonna take it slow here, especially against a black based aggressive deck like this one. We gotta be careful. We gotta be smart about things. Ooh, Rona's fantastic here. Wow. I think it's that time we go ahead and play Rona first. And we could zombify. We could zombify, but I think, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go with zombify here. Just to have some big boy creatures on the board. And then the attack for 6 in the air. And that gives us a very good cushion against an aggressive deck like this one. Thoughtseize, that's fine. Good thing we got our engines online before crap hit the fan, which is absolutely fantastic. We got some good stuff here. Wow. I think this is gonna seal the deal. GG. Ha 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 ha. I think you're good to go here, and my opponent just gives up. Sweet. We got our victory back, which is fantastic. Man, this deck is fun. I like this deck. This deck is absolutely up my alley, and it puts in the work, son. I love this deck. Alright, let's go for the last game of the session, and then we should be good here. Yeah, Sire of Sudden Deaths deserves the thumbnail. Holy macro. This deck is absolutely insane. This deck is absolutely fantastic. And again, Sire of Sudden Deaths, you are deserves. Your place in the thumbnail will be absolutely deserved. Esteban Hobbs is our last opponent for this video. Okay, this hand here on the tray. This hand is kinda mediocre, if I do say so myself. But I'm still gonna keep it. We're gonna play the Lottery Grave first, because that is our first land. That is a shock land. Alright, our opponent is playing a blue black deck as well, and it seems they are on probably a ninja deck. So in that case, we're gonna go ahead and kick out Desert Disaster, because this card is gonna be real crucial against a deck list of this nature. You can see a ninjutsu here. There it is, the Moon Circuit. And they just draw a card. And what is my opponent gonna play here? Let's see. Spyglass Siren. Yeah, we're gonna counter that. We are gonna counter that pronto. And then we go for, after we draw the Annex, I think it's in my best interest to keep the cards flowing. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the Annex here. This could bite me in the noggin in the next couple of turns, but I think this is worth it. Next turn, we're gonna potentially go double 2-drop in the form of Dragonstorm into the Lookout. We'll see. Our opponent in the meanwhile just played a Dismal Backwater, which is what I like to call a heal land, aka a land that heals upon entering English. And he just plays a Miscreant and a Sleep Cursed Fairy. Alright. Okay, now we're gonna need a land. We need a land desperately here. So first, I think I'm gonna go Dragonstorm into... Oh my dears. Where is my land? I could drop Summon Bahamut, to be honest. Okay, that's not good. Oh boy. This is not good. Uh-oh. There's a land. Perfect. What I am concerned about is my opponent having a counter spell. So let's take that out of him with a mob lookout here. Let's see if we can bait out a counter spell. We do not. Ooh, Age of the Treachery. Age of the Treachery could be good. Oh boy. What else? What can we discard here? I guess I'm gonna discard the Reanimator. Nice. And then why not just play two of them? We're gonna go ahead and target this one. The one that has no power, the one that literally entered the battlefield. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Those were some good draws. Holy mackerel. Okay, so 4 mana. Here for the opponent. Let's see what our opponent is gonna do here. I would be shocked if my opponent doesn't play counters in a deck like this. We're gonna block. We're gonna block the Sanctuary here, which is a very nice and recent addition to the archetype via Foundations. I could go for the unlock of the room. You know what, now that I think about it, yeah, let's do that. That discourages the opponent from potentially countering this trigger, even though there is a counter spell now in that is legal in Pioneer that counters triggered abilities from the Spider-Man set. I can't remember the name of the card. And my opponent just went ahead and took out my thing with a Fatal Push. And hilariously enough, Battle at the Bridge, or Battle at the Big Bridge, is basically a play on words from Battle of the Bridge, which is a card that is legal IRL. Alright, my opponent stays back. And honestly, I'm gonna stay back too. We're gonna keep the cards flowing here, and we're gonna kick out every single interaction that we have here in hand. And that's a good draw. Holy mackerel. Alright, not bad. Okay, we're gonna drop the Reanimator and the Curator of Destinies, and we're gonna call that too. Man, this is a nice way to end the game, to end the recording here. A nice drag out game against a blue-black 3 deck, which is fantastic. I'm gonna do some heavy editing on this one, because there are some games that just didn't, load for some unexplained reason. Let me go ahead and try to take out let's try and take out probably the theory, if I had to guess. You know what? No. Let's take out one of the flyers here, and let's see if there's a response. If not, if they do, rather, I had a desert disaster to go ahead and counter that, and my opponent just lets it through. Basically let it go through English. And now that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana next turn, I think it's time we bring back some big old nasty creature from the graveyard. I think the first one on the agenda is the Bahamut. So let's go ahead and go for it. Let's go for the Zombify. Since we have a counter spell at the back, so let's go ahead and do this. If they counter this, I'm gonna counter that with a Desert Disaster, which is crucial here. There it is. There it is. There it is. Ha 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 ha. Got him. Nice. That's fine. That's... Wow, I forgot about the soul stones. Wow. Okay. I forgot about the soul stones. Alright. That was a idiotic play on my behalf. And my opponent just takes advantage anyway. Alright. Alright, so my opponent's still at 5 mana. Or in this case, potentially 7 mana. And since they are a ninja deck, yeah, I love Fatal Push. Especially with this new card art. I believe this card art came from Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's Final Fantasy 5. Alright, my opponent's on the offensive. Let me go ahead and block one of the sanctuaries. You could see a Fatal Push here. No, another Moon Circuit hacker being ninjutsu'd. Alright. My opponent still has 6 mana left. And my opponent's just gonna Fatal Push that. I would not be surprised if my opponent Fatal Pushes again. Instead, he's gonna play the Siren. And yeah, this is a long drag out game. I like drag out games, English. Let me go ahead and drop the island. Like I said, I like drag out games like this. I think it's time we try Age of the Treachery here. If this works, so be it. If it doesn't, so be it as well. Let your will be done. Let's do this. By hook or by crook? Yes! Got him! Alright. They let that go through, huh? So, how many Fatal Pushes did they play? Only 2. It's now or never. If you have another Fatal Push, then GG, well played. No, it goes to the throat. Okay. And that's the end. Alright. We tried. We tried. But the deck is just too good. The deck is just too good, man. The deck is just too strong. We're gonna block here. It doesn't make a difference. We are at 2. And they just overpowered us with their sanctuaries and their thingamajig. But yeah, this deck is fun. But it certainly has its flaws. It certainly has its weaknesses. But I still believe in the power of this archetype. And I will continue to optimize it for the Pioneer metagame and for other metagames to come. So guys, that's gonna do it for this session. I thank all so much for stopping by. If you did enjoy the video, don't hesitate to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you like the content, consider following me over on Twitch. Link is down below in the description. Once more, and if you like to support the channel as well, don't hesitate to buy some products, some digital products from me over at Payhit. Excuse me, payhit.com/pixel of praise. Link is down below in the description. I'm working on a new series uh to sell over there at Payhit, and that's all I gotta say for now. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and above all else, stay safe, spread love, and may the Lord God above bless you. This is Alex Fuel. I'm out. Stay safe, and I'll see you around. Adios, amigos. See you soon.